Coming up on Inside California Education.
Okay, guys, on. Oh, perfect.
Discover how a student-run thrift store at a San Diego school is outfitting teens with new threads, while also serving a greater mission of helping those in need.
Which of the following groups was the new left most...
See how at-risk students from a community school in Los Banos are defying expectations as they compete in the Academic Decathlon.
What I love about this country is the promise that anybody can have an education.
Meet California's newest Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond.
She's about 4.5 months old.
And explore 2 school farms in the Central Valley where students are growing food for school lunches. It's all next on Inside California Education.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by... Since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $34 billion in supplemental funding for California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through college. That's approximately $211 for each full-time student, based on $1.7 billion contributed in fiscal year 2017-18. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education.
These are rooms full of memories. Magical evenings like senior proms or trips to Disneyland, clothing once cherished as the height of fashion, or just an item outgrown, all now destined to serve a higher purpose. It's Wednesday afternoon at San Diego's Patrick Henry High School.
Okay, guys, on. Oh,
with student volunteers right behind, teacher Laura Dickens is opening up 2 rooms packed with donated items. Welcome to the on-campus thrift store, where all proceeds go towards helping less fortunate students.
When the parents found out that there were homeless students and foster students on our campus, it all of a sudden became a huge community mission to make everyone's experience at Patrick Henry fun, meaningful, memorable, and equal.
The thrift store began modestly in 2016 with just a single rack of clothes. Repurposing used clothing was originally intended as a lesson about environmental awareness. But then members of the school's Interact Club, a kind of junior version of Rotary International, realized this would be a great way to raise money to help fellow students. With help from Rotary, parents, staff, and students, the thrift store blossomed.
Proceeds all go to benefit kids financially who are maybe struggling, so we can help them and support them.
It just provides me with an opportunity that I just feel like helps my community and help me grow at the same time.
Thomas, you're going to do the t-shirt wall and the jeans if we have time for that, okay?
It starts in the morning when special education teacher Glenda Griesgraber assigns Thomas, Darren, and Brendan the tasks of sorting and folding the clothes before the store opens in the afternoon. Glenda says it's been a game changer for her students.
It gives them a sense of accomplishment that they're doing something other than being in an academic class. This is giving them something, a skill that they can use to go work in a retail store.
If they're worn out, they go in the Goodwill box. But if they're not gonna be in Goodwill, we put them back in stock.
Come on into the thrift store.
Every item, big or small, is priced at $1 each. Students can buy everything from bracelets to prom suits and dresses. All the money raised, almost $2,000 a year, helps pay for yearbooks, senior trips, even laptops for graduating seniors heading off to college. Proceeds also help buy personal care items for students who might not be able to afford them. They can approach any teacher, counselor, or thrift club student, and everything's discreetly provided for free.
So we make sure students are aware that they can have deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste. There isn't anything that should prevent you from coming to school. If we can buy it, we hope that you will attend school and thrive.
We want to make sure that everyone has the ability to be a part of things, that no one feels excluded, and that everyone is able to participate in other things and they don't feel ostracized from other students.
Even at a relatively affluent school like Patrick Henry, it's estimated as many as 20 students could be homeless at any given time. Once again, fellow students help out by collecting free food items to share.
The canned food is all going towards students at our high school right now that currently can't afford too much because they live in really difficult situations, so right now they might not have a stable home.
There are students who obviously need help, and so this provides that venue, but it also gives students this great feeling and sense of pride that they're giving back to others.
Principal Elizabeth Gillingham says the thrift store helps to erase the stigma or self-judgment students may feel when their families face financial challenges.
So a student would say to me proudly, I bought this at the store, and she's at the prom, and his suit was $1 and so was my dress. I think that's amazing.
Cute shirts.
Thank you.
Nice. How much did it cost you?
$1.
Can't beat the price.
Can't beat the price.
It's true.
He got this shirt here too. $1.
It's really beautiful to watch students just do something because they feel good about it and not because it's going to be a bullet point on their resume or a college application.
The idea of an on-campus thrift store may seem a bit unusual for some, but the consensus at Patrick Henry High is that the benefits far exceed the risks and the resources needed to make it happen.
I would say having a thrift store is a wonderful thing for every student that's on your campus. Their world is bigger than just themselves, and giving back to others is important, and it makes it cool to be part of that, and I like that.
I encourage, middle schools, elementary schools, and high schools to all connect and share the wealth that they have within.
Just talk to a teacher and get it started. It's just get the whole school together, and then you start fundraisers or have donations for clothes, and then it's like a snowball effect, it keeps rolling.
It's a wonderful thing to be a part of this. They're just beautiful inside, and I get a lot of credit for this, but it's them.
I will be there as your cheerleader. Go team, go team. Okay, your coach. Okay, that's what will be my responsibility. Your responsibility will be to do all the hard work.
In just a couple days, this team of high school students will be competing in Merced County's Academic Decathlon. And it's Isabel Mendoza's job to be sure these kids are ready to compete.
But it's not so much as what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, how you're presenting it, and are you believable enough? I feel like I'm more like guiding them. I'm helping them discover what they can do, what they can't do. And I know many of my students want to do better, they want to try, but sometimes they're limited because of their background.
It's because of their struggles at a traditional public school that they are now at a community high school.
Each one of these kids has their own story. Each one has their own reason they're here.
Leslie Jellin is the principal at Valley Community High School in Los Banos.
I mean, we serve many different at-risk youth, and this is a chance for them to get back on track and recover from maybe some bad decisions they've made. They don't have to be defined by their past.
One of the ways the high school is hoping to achieve this is by giving their students the opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities, such as the Academic Decathlon.
Okay, number 39. This one asks, how did you and your team prepare for the Academic Decathlon?
So as far as I am aware of, we are the only county that has community schools that participate in the Academic Decathlon. We have this small team that doesn't have a lot of the same supports and doesn't have as much time, but we're still there, we're still trying.
The Academic Decathlon is not for the faint-hearted.
The correct answer is A.
Teams of students demonstrate their academic strength by completing 7 written tests, writing an essay, delivering a prepared and an impromptu speech, as well as participating in an interview. The contest culminates in what's called a super quiz, a Jeopardy-style speed test.
Pencils up.
Along with the medals and plaques presented to the top teams and individuals, the decathlon also gives out 3 scholarships to each participating high school.
This academic decathlon is scary to many, and the hardest thing is to convince them that you should be here.
Honestly, at first, I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. And then like towards the end, I like kind of accepted it as like, this is helping me out. It's for my future. So like when I kind of got that, I was like, it's all good, you know, just do it.
I would have never expected this 3 years ago, you know, being a sophomore and getting all Fs and not getting any passing grades. I've been to 4 different high schools and none of them offered anything like this. So I'm really, really excited and nervous at the same time.
I'll still talk to you.
For Francita, it's actually her second time participating in the competition.
And we do argue about it, but he's still my best friend, so we won't. I attended the Academic Decathlon last year and won 1 gold medal in science and 1 bronze medal in music.
Like Andrea, she too has come a long way.
Before this, I don't think I would have graduated high school.
Why is that?
Because I wasn't even trying. At one point, I just gave up. And it was really sad for a while, and a lot of my family were very disappointed because I'm a smart kid. But I gave up on myself, which was really bad. That's like the worst thing you can do.
Kids like these need people that are willing to push them forward. Why were you thinking about college?
I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life, which is very common.
They've got to find somebody that will give them that little boost, and that's what I'm here for, that little boost, nothing more. We're gonna stop there. We got about 5 more minutes. Work on your speeches tomorrow. I want those things typed out, if you have them, because it's here now, and we're gonna do the best that we can do. You want that? Go!
After months of preparation and hard work, the big day has finally arrived.
I'm in the Academic Decathlon now. Whatever brought us here, the circumstances, we're just trying to make the best out of it.
I feel like it's not proving just for myself, but like for the whole school. We're not bad kids and we can do what everybody else does.
It means a lot to me that they've helped me grow as a person, and it's definitely like something I'm very grateful for.
It's not that I taught them to fly on their own. I helped them discover that they can fly. It's already in them. It's just they need to find that themselves.
Still ahead on Inside California Education.
Do you think a horse can catch up with a cow?
Students in the Central Valley towns of Turlock and Ceres are getting hands-on experience at school farms, learning everything from how to plant vegetables to proper animal care. But first, let's get to know Tony Thurmond, California's brand new Superintendent of Schools.
What's your name, sir? Armand. Nice to meet you.
When I think about how education impacted me, you know, I had great teachers who always believed in me, and they really imparted a message that if I believed in education, that my life would be better than it started. I'm confident that it meant the difference for me between ending up in California State Prison and instead ending up as California State Superintendent.
Tony Thurmond is California's newest Superintendent of Public Instruction, guiding education policy for the state's 6 million students. He was inaugurated in January 2019 in front of a crowd at Sacramento's McClatchy High School.
To which our children are entitled. I will not back down. I will not back down.
California is immensely lucky to have a talented, committed, and savvy leader like Tony Thurmond leading the Department of Education and fighting for our youth. Welcome to Sacramento. Welcome to everybody. Welcome, Superintendent.
But it wasn't an easy road to the office. Thurmond was in a contested and expensive race for the position against charter school executive Marshall Tuck, with the results too close to call for days after the election.
My campaign for state superintendent was certainly the toughest race that I've had in politics, and I've always had tough races, but I never lost faith. I always believed that if you put forward what your vision is for helping young people, that everything will work out the way it's supposed to.
What makes him well suited for this position is that he has a lived experience that's unique and unlike any other superintendent. I mean, he's Afro-Panamanian. He's lived an experience in which he was orphaned and he had to be raised by, his cousin that he had never met. And so education to him is very personal.
My cousin raised me, and she kept me out of the streets, and she kept me out of trouble. And she always made sure that we had the best education that we could possibly get.
My mom was real sick, and my mom had cancer, and when I was 6 years old, my mom lost her battle to cancer, and my dad was not in the picture, so I ended up growing up in Philadelphia.
Thurmond graduated from Temple University in Philadelphia before returning to the Bay Area, where he became a social worker. That led to seats on the Richmond City Council and School Board, then the State Assembly, and finally, State Superintendent.
I've been very fortunate to be in a position to work with young people to help them get a second chance, to help them get strong after-school programs and mentoring programs. It's my mission to serve young people.
Today, Thurmond is meeting with students at Valley High School in Sacramento, involved with a program called Improve Your Tomorrow.
So I showed up for the food, but then I started to really understand the mission of the program, and that was to get young men of color to and through college.
Over the next 4 years, Thurmond says he wants to focus on those students who are often too easily overlooked. He also wants to reform school budgets at a time when school districts like Sacramento are facing a budget crisis and teachers are striking in cities across the state.
California still is 41st in the nation in per pupil spending, even though California is the 5th wealthiest economy in the world. We have to change that. And we always say that the kids are our future. We have to act like it. And my top priority is increasing revenue for our schools, closing our achievement gap, closing our teacher shortage. How do you learn when you don't have a well-trained and qualified teacher at the head of every class?
These reforms are more than Thurmond's political platform. They're also personal. He has 2 daughters attending public schools.
There are times when I felt like if a teacher or a staff person is going to be so difficult to me, how are they going to treat other parents who don't know how to advocate for their children? And so we've got to work through the bureaucracy and the barriers that impact our educational systems.
He's not a figurehead. He's actually boots on the ground, and he's rolling up his sleeves, and he knows what's happening at the department, and he wants to be helpful personally.
At the end of his term, Thurmond says he hopes to increase the state's per pupil spending, putting the state on a trajectory to someday be the first in the nation.
I think there's so much more that we can do in this state, and I'm excited that the voters have given me the opportunity to do it.
On average, states spend more than $12,000 in per pupil spending when adjusted for regional costs. Vermont has the highest per pupil spending in the nation at more than $20,000. Utah spends the least at about $7,000 per student. In California, per pupil expenditures are a little over $9,000.
make sure that you plant the plants so that it's just even with the soil. So you're just going to open the soil up, put it in, see how it's even and level, and then push the soil back in around it.
Agriculture is the biggest industry here in Stanislaus County, where farms generate about $3 billion worth of commodities each year. So you'd think that kids from local schools would have plenty of exposure to the farm life. But school officials from the towns of Turlock and Ceres discovered that was not always the case.
Almost all the kids in our program are actually coming from a suburban environment. Very, very few of our students are actually coming off of a farm. They don't have any idea where their food comes from. We plant broccoli plants and they look at that and they have no idea what a broccoli looks like growing in the field.
We have some students that have never had a farm experience. They've never planted something in the ground and been able to watch it grow. They've never been able to hold a chick or pet a sheep or a goat. And so with bringing them out here, they actually get these experiences that they may not have otherwise.
In the last several years, both the Turlock and Ceres school districts have invested significant time and money into creating real working farms for their students. Turlock's effort started in 2013 when the district bought 10 acres of land in the city. They've been slowly building it up since.
We finally finished our swine facility just about 3 weeks ago. So now we have a swine facility that is up to industry standards. We've also been able to bring out our goats and sheep to the farm this year. They used to be housed at different locations. We have about an acre of fruit trees and we have about an acre of vegetables. We are starting to plant now with the first graders and they will continue to plant with about 800 more first graders out here. We get a lot of seeds planted and they're very good at doing that.
Turlock wants to make this farm accessible to every student in the district, whether it's elementary school students on a field trip or high schoolers who are raising animals through Future Farmers of America.
She's born in November, so she's about 4.5 months old. Yes.
The learning doesn't stop at the farm for these first graders from Juline Elementary School. Their teachers say they have several lessons planned around today's excursion.
Kids are jumping up and down, very excited, and it kind of brings to life the things they've been reading about and learning about.
The teachers are very good about bringing it back to the classroom and using it as, remember when we were at the farm and we did this.
Turlock's farm coordinator, Laura Brem, says the district was also motivated by new science standards that encouraged kids to memorize less and explore more.
We don't just give them the answers. We want them to explore and to investigate and then find the answers on their own, because as they go through that process, they internalize it. It becomes a part of them.
I've been planting peas, climbing on tractors, looking at fruit. I really enjoyed looking inside of a tractor because I don't really get to do that often.
The food grown on the Turlock farm typically returns to the schools as a snack for students. But the farm run by the Ceres School District takes it a step further. Each year, they sell about $18,000 worth of produce grown on the farm back to the school district.
It's really a seed to fork operation. We start seeds in our greenhouses with our students, we grow those, and then they actually go into a school lunch program with the school district. So instead of buying it from a wholesaler, they're actually purchasing it from the ag program, and those funds come back into it. So on an average week, we're probably feeding 2,000 students just off of this particular fruit that comes off the farm.
The food that grows out here and goes to our cafeteria, I feel like that does make a difference because a lot of people don't know where their food comes from. Instead of like trucking in fruits from different parts of California, we can just truck them in from our school farm.
Ariana is a junior at Ceres Central Valley High School, which offers students 4 career pathways in its agriculture program. This 6.5-acre farm is an extension of that program with more than 200 fruit trees, table grapes, and vegetables. Plus, there's livestock facilities so students can learn how to care for cattle, sheep, pigs, and goats.
I've been thinking a lot about veterinarian technician. With the experience I have with goats, it's going to help me a lot to go towards my career.
Ceres ag instructor Ken Moncrief says one of the most rewarding parts of his job is watching students eat farm-fresh food, often for the very first time.
When we grow a carrot, they're pulling the carrots right out of the ground. I have to kind of fight them to go wash them because they're so excited to try their vegetables that they grew. So I think they're really learning about nutrition and things like that because they're eating something right out of the ground.
I think it's very important for students to know where the food is coming from because a lot of people are starting to raise awareness of like how important it is to have locally sourced food.
School officials from both Turlock and Ceres agree the learning that goes on these farms is invaluable. It provides a hands-on experience students can't get in the classroom, sparks a new appreciation for animals, and even offers inspiration for a future career.
In education, there are so many great kids, and I think this is a shining example of where kids can really shine. Every part of this is touched by kids' hands, and that's what makes me the most proud.
If you'd like more information about the program, log on to our website, insidecaled.org. We have video from all of our shows, and you can connect with us on social media. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Inside California Education.
Come to the thrift store, everything's $1. I got this shirt here at the thrift store a few weeks ago.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Armand.
Elvon?
Armand.
Armand. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm scared to death.
We're gonna plant the peas, okay?
Yay!
Okay, let's go.
How do you want them, just in a straight line?
Yeah.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by... Since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $34 billion in supplemental funding for California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through college. That's approximately $211 for each full-time student, based on $1.7 billion contributed in fiscal year 2017-18. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.